Namaste, warrior priests and priestesses. I thought I'd talk to you today about something called social therapeutics and why I believe that many of us suffer not from biological conditions of the brain, but instead from conditions that are socially created. Let me tell you exactly what I mean. I am a woman who wrestles daily with the symptoms of schizophrenia and major depression. Some days I wake up and stare at the ceiling. At times, it can take as many as 3 hours to get out of bed because I dread the burden of going through my day. When I finally do get up and go through my daily ritual of showering, dressing, yoga, and meditation, it might take less than half an hour for my first paranoid obsessions to start. At that point, I might start cursing old nemesis out in my head, sometimes muttering furious words to myself under my breath as I desperately try to focus on my path. More and more these days, my days are filled with joy and grace. But sometimes, rarely, when I leave my house, the neuroses start in earnest. Filled with rage, I can move through my entire day wrestling with that rage at people on the bus, the train, the street, desperately trying to conceal my feelings in every environment in which I find myself. In my head, I am despised by others for a rage I cannot control, and despised because of the pathetic shittiness of my rage. Helplessly, hopelessly angry, there are times when my day is a never ending shitstorm of self hatred, paranoia, and barely concealed resentment. We all have different neuroses. Some of us have obsessions centered on gender, some on sexuality, some on race. Some of us are obsessed with the 1%, with beauty, wealth, success, or intelligence, and the injustice of not having it. Some of us think compulsively about the boys from the other side of the tracks who bullied us mercilessly in high school, some about romance, some about interracial dating. Some of us think about childhood dreams which never came to fruition, some about leaving the tiny towns we're stuck in. Whatever we think about, it tortures us. There's one thing we all have in common. Almost all of us have walked into a doctor's office, told him our story, and been told, "You're not well, you have a mental illness." We've been medicated and psychoanalyzed into a stupor, all because society cannot handle the reality of our suffering. If we were to do as we pleased, walk down the street screaming and cursing, spend our days pummeling people and smashing store windows, it would be an inconvenience to the pleasures of those who spend their days shopping for new designer jeans, hitting on good looking people, and bullying coworkers and employees. So they lock us up, chemically or in reality. Beyond the need to save safe space for all people, which is necessary, their actions are repulsive. Our pain is real. When I discuss mental illness with lay people, I'm always astonished at the degree to which people fail to understand how culture shapes our conditions. Factors like ableism or prejudice expressed towards any group which is not able to defend its material space in society, like the handicapped, the unintelligent, and the disabled, racism expressed towards any group, homophobia, professional corruption, and the decay of sexual virtue in our culture all have devastating effects on us. The crumbling of our social fabric alone, leaving us without meaningful relationships and in romantic partnerships based on superficialities, is enough to leave many of us with persistent mental health problems. That's not to mention the bullying many mentally ill people have to endure at the hands of everyone from classmates to family, which is enough to traumatize almost anyone for life. Are we mentally ill? Or are we victims of social ills which claim the lives of the sensitive and devout while leading more callous souls to become bullies and predators? Whenever I talk to my fellow schizophrenics and depressives, I am astonished by how frequently our symptoms match up with various wounds we've sustained in the course of living our lives. We may be more or less prone to various mental afflictions because of our personalities or biology, but I suspect that, by far, the intensity of many of our symptoms is increased by the dysfunctions of our culture. It's hard to heal your spirit from your mother's contempt for your weight when every woman from Birmingham to Bogota is on a grapefruit diet because she gained 2.6 pounds, to give just one example. I'll explore social therapeutics more in future sermons because I think they represent an essential development in modern psychology. It's time we start recognizing how cultural dysfunctions reflect the schisms in our own souls and begin to understand that in order to win against our mental illnesses, we have to start fighting these dysfunctions of society, both in ourselves and in others. By doing this, we can truly pave the way not only to peace, but to heaven and nirvana. Namaste.